Hello, this is Coach Mike from winningstockcoach.com. Well, I had made a longer market overview video for the upcoming week, and I know a lot of people aren't going to watch it, no matter how much I say that, if you're serious about making money, you need to be serious about planning to make money. I know that there are people that aren't that serious, and I know there are people there that are seriously thinking they'd like to make money, but they're not serious about actually making it. But I want to help those people too, and I'm putting out a shortened version from the 40-minute market overview video that I'll also have out this evening as well. And I'm just going to start with the normal review like we do. I'm going to go over here to the S&P 500 chart, the SPX. A few weeks ago we talked about 1987.08 as a potential high side target, and we did hit that the week before last. Going into last week's market overview video, we talked about the support level, interim support 1962.11, and you see over the past few days we kind of dropped into it last week, but we held on it. I would like to see the closes continue to be above 1962.11 for me to remain with a long view of the markets, and on a failure of that, you may find opportunities to go short. The one thing I would suggest and probably concentrate on a bit is with earnings this upcoming week, financial stocks really heavy this upcoming week, I think they could have a very big determination in whether or not we bounce upwards from this support level or fail this support level and head into that little bit of a pullback mode to that 1902.52 I talked about last week as well. So we did come down last week to that first support level. We consolidated on it really nicely. If our earnings are good with financial stocks, even tomorrow with Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, I would say that so long as the support's held, we could look for longs. I was kind of disappointed last week. Wells Fargo reported last week, and even though I'm long in Wells Fargo, not too happy with the earnings, but I am still in the stock because I'm up 25% and I'm not too upset about the current performance of that. So I was giving it until tomorrow to see Citigroup's earnings to make a decision on that. But with the SPX, very, very simple. You go long in a stock on a positive move from support. You go short if it were to pull back from resistance or fail that support. And you're right at that support now. And financial stocks, their earnings this week could determine the direction you need to look to trade in the upcoming week and even the upcoming few weeks. The DJI daily chart we're viewing here, it's kind of been a little lagging and slow. It still hasn't hit that 17,209.51 target that I had. It did make a nice little pullback, fairly consistent with the prior pullbacks, and a couple actually 3 or 4 days of consolidation around the same closing price. I would be watching earnings for Goldman Sachs in the upcoming week, and then Visa will be coming up soon as well, and those are two of the largest stocks price-wise in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the 30 stock composite there, and I believe their earnings could play a lot on whether or not the DJI chart gets up into that target area or makes an actual decent pullback. If I had to pick an area on the DJI for a pullback, I really would have to say smartly that you'd want to be watching in the 16,600 area if it were to start failing hard. Now, it doesn't seem like much, and it's really not much, and I'm not trying to make it out to seem like much. I just think that would be the first little decent pullback area, and we'd maybe search for more over the next few weeks as we got into a larger amount of technology stocks reporting their earnings. But with the DJI, very consistent trading pattern, kind of slow. It's kind of if you can imagine, 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, because that's the moves you've been making. You'll be really happy on your long position, and then for a few weeks it's like, wow, I'm almost back where I started. I'm just slightly above that. And the next time you're 3 steps forward, 2 steps back again. The blue chip stocks, the 30 stocks that make up the Dow Jones Industrial Average Composite, aren't your standard trade and high flyer type stocks. They're your solid, longer term investment view type stocks. And that's how you have to view them. And what you're seeing is that consistency shown even on the composite chart itself. Now over to the Russell 2000, the small cap index. hey, what can we say? It hit our target area and it pulled back from our target area, just like we've covered over the past couple weeks. Down in here, we talked about the high side potential and how it seems so great for the Russell 2000. We were right. It got there. We were right when we said that was the target. We were right when it pulled back from it. But I'm a firm believer in the harder stocks run, the harder they pull back, the harder stocks fall, the more likely they are to at least get a bounce. And I would say that if you got poor news at the start of this earnings season, but your small caps still got a bit of a bounce, it would be more of that technical dead cat bounce because of how hard it's fallen. And you should use the financial news coming out of this earnings season to determine whether you should exit small caps on a bounce, or if the news is good, if this is not just a really pretty pullback, to go long in them and to enter new longs. And again, this type of news is going to be coming out early this week, starting even tomorrow morning pre-market, with big financials, a few of them putting out their earnings. So be watching them, but understand the difference in a dead cat bounce and a solid long entry point. And I think you'll find that based on the news we get through this next week or so of earnings. Finally, our Nasdaq composite chart, the COMP. A few weeks ago we covered it for the potential at big momentum plays. Hey, we had some big momentum plays, and they did well. Last week I encouraged to let it pull back, let it relax a little. We had one day where it gapped down and opened below the swing high point, but we've held the swing high point into the closes. And even from the large drop that we saw on Tuesday, we had the bigger gap down on Thursday, but we charged straight up from it. Our closing prices have held above the swing point. We could use that swing point, and really I'd say you'd probably want to use 43.79.76 as your support level. But in reality, if we get good news coming out of the financial stocks after the momentum plays and the pullback we had from them, you could find some good entries in your Nasdaq stocks. A couple of them performed really well this last week. Facebook, Amazon did really well. Apple kind of came off and consolidated. It could be one to look at if the Nasdaq has some further upwards movement. But overall, we made a nice pullback after the momentum trade, and that's what we look for the secondary bounce after those momentum, the breakout trades. And I think with the exception of that gap down on Thursday that didn't stay down for long and charged up hard the whole day, we could have seen that pullback. And if it wasn't just for that one opening price, and thank goodness it wasn't a close, because it'd be a different story then, but we're at that area where you could see your tech stocks, your Nasdaq stocks, begin to give you some good swing entries. I put out yes, I mentioned earlier in the video, I did a longer market overview video, and it is about 40 minutes long. I hope you take the time to watch it. If you're serious about trading, serious about wanting to make a profit trading the markets, you need to put in the time. I can't say it any nicer, because the truth is the truth, and I hope you take the time to watch it, because there's a lot of good information in it. But for those of you that aren't as serious and are doing this more leisurely, I wanted to have a video out there for you for this week to kind of give you some general idea on some things to look at based on your indices. So this is Coach Mike from winningstockcoach.com, wishing you the best of luck in your upcoming week of trading, and God bless.